bad bitch, I'm a bad bitch, one.
Lower this down. I am not that tall.
Yeah.
There we go.
You look so pretty. Your hair is glowing. Your face is glowing is what I meant to say.
It's sweat.
Oh, that's great.
We just got back from the gym, I want to say like 30 minutes ago. And so I just got like a shakedown and some food. And I was like, I'm not going to shower yet.
Yeah. Nope. That's usually how it goes. What'd you end up training?
Legs.
Legs. Love it. How's that going for you?
It's interesting. So I'm kind of trying to like overcompensate and train around / with really off-center hips. You can see it in some of the poses I do. My right hip just shoots up a good inch or two. And I'm like, cool. So anytime I do RDLs, I have to think about that.
Yeah.
And go with the movement where I can adjust both hips, but actually keep the hinge movement in my right hip.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of isolateral movements or?
A lot of isolateral movements.
Yeah.
Except for obviously like the heavier compounds and stuff, but
yeah.
Isolateral.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hello, hello.
I feel like it's been fast.
How's it going? I know it's been a couple weeks for sure.
Yeah. I feel like it's just been like so, at least on my end, so busy these last couple of weeks. It just seems like so long ago that we had a podcast, but crazy. Yeah. How was your day? Did you train today?
Today is my day, rest day, so I just lazed about, did a little sun tanning by the pool, some reading, some laundry. Fun.
Fun, lazy Sunday. Do you have any cardio on your rest days right now?
Yeah, I have 5 sessions a week, so I usually skip cardio on like my harder training days. So like a quad focus day, and then like my back ham glute day where I do a heavy deadlift variation. So those are days that I like to kind of keep manage fatigue. So I won't do cardio usually those days, but I'll do like steps in the morning because I do find it helps me like get in routine for the day and like get hungry for my first meal. So I'll still do a little bit of movement, but not like a full cardio session.
Yeah, I know we've said it. I dread having like fasted cardio implemented, but like once it's in and once I've been doing it, it does just feel so, I don't know, until you get like really into the thick of it. Like it really feels like it just gives you that extra like boost for the morning.
Yeah, it just feels like a good routine.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was always really good in preps about just having like a stationary bike parked in my living room so I could just roll up and go right to the stationary bike, turn on the TV, cruise through it.
Dude, it's so convenient having at least like a piece of cardio equipment in your home.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you've got the space for it and you've got the money for it. I mean, we just obviously Facebook Marketplace that and, found a decent elliptical, actually, not kind of like one of the more chintzier, home ellipticals, but it's like a decent one for like $200 or something like that. A couple years ago.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. had to go pick it up, obviously, transport it, and Michael like took off half his toe trying to fucking bring it into the house, but so that was fun. But yeah, definitely having cardio at home for those days you just don't want to drive to the gym to do your cardio is always nice. So
Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time.
yeah.
Years. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that. I don't. Oh, sorry. Ugh.
I live like 3 minutes from one gym that I go to, and then 5 minutes from another gym that I go to, like in either direction. So it kind of worked out perfectly.
Not bad.
Heck yeah, that's so awesome.
I just slog into my like garage with like no, makeup, my hair like in like the most ridiculous pajama outfit
Yeah.
of the century. And I leave like dripping. I couldn't imagine being in public looking like that.
Is your gym on site, like on your property, or is it like down the road? Or I feel like I never knew this, or like where it was.
We just have bikes in our garage, and then like the little private warehouse that we have is about 25 minutes away.
Okay.
So because we live kind of out in the country a little bit, so we have to drive into town like 25 minutes. But Justin has a like pre-core bike, and then I have my little Peloton that I just go ham on. He's tried it a couple times, but he needs to get his own bike.
Yeah. Hi, Hunter. Oh,
Hi.
Peach is not where she belongs.
Yeah. Now she's just staring at me.
Yeah, grilling you. Like, I'll go where I want to. You're not paying attention to
Yeah,
me.
she's like, this is my house. Thank you.
How are you feeling, Miss 5 weeks out, sub 5 weeks out?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I've been doing real good. This week, though, man.
Yeah.
Like freight train.
Me like a damn freight train.
Oh,
I feel shitty. I will tell you
Yeah.
that. And it's so funny in prep because it's like the littlest task.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can't do it.
daunting.
Yeah.
Just
Like, even like going to like Prompto to get your oil change, where you have to do nothing and just sit there. That's like,
I was gonna go shopping today.
yeah.
I have these pair of Nikes that I keep saying that I really want.
Mm-hmm.
no.
Didn't feel like it.
Being home and just relaxing is so much better.
Mm-hmm.
You could online shop.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
was my vice.
Do it from the couch. Yeah.
So after watching the couples episode, 'cause I have been single literally every prep that I've done.
Yeah.
So I've always been like, man, it would be so nice to have a partner to just share some of the load, someone who could just unload the dishwasher even. Like just those little things.
For once.
It would be so fucking nice.
Yeah.
But I've definitely utilized like TaskRabbit and Instacart and like all the things.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I've done way more online shopping just for like basic necessity things, just so I don't have to go out and get them.
Yeah.
So,
I have the Walmart Plus app. So you just delivery. It's like you can choose the time slot in which you want it delivered. Sometimes it's free even for the time slot, and they just bring it all right to your door.
It's so nice.
Yep. Yeah, I use Instacart. That's all we use. We don't ever. It's a little more expensive, I think.
Yeah.
They upcharge a little bit, obviously, in like delivery, but I don't want to go to the store. I don't want to do it. Like, I just want to go home and have it delivered to my door. Like,
yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, if you can spend that $15 in like delivery fee and whatever,
I will pay for the convenience.
Just for peace of mind, mainly.
Start making your coffee at home. Don't go get Starbucks coffee. You know what I mean? Like, figure out how to fit it in or make it work. But, no, I think it's really been like solid for you, like up until, like you're saying, like up until now, though.
It's been so good. granted, I am having a few days here now this week where I'm like, shitty. But it's been the whole process in general and as a whole, amazing. It's been so good. So good. Like, and the weird part is I'm not as like food focused. Like last season I was like so bad. Like my TikTok, everything. I was on DoorDash, like in the order I would like, I would definitely.
Oh wow. Yeah. That's like the equivalent of like putting it in your cart. Like you go shopping and put it in your cart just to like see it there.
Yes. I was doing all that. And now it's like, granted, I'll still see food because it's like
I could hit buy. I could do it
now.
I could do it. I could do it. But it's like not.
I won't. I'm just thinking about it.
I'm just thinking about it. I'm not gonna do it, girl.
I'm not gonna do it.
I always
but yeah, it's just not as big of a like thing, which is really nice.
Yeah.
That takes like work. You have to like actively avoid it.
Yes.
Otherwise, it gets you.
It does. It's like you watch like 2 or 3, and then your explore page is just
nothing but recipes
and
like stuff that you don't even like. Like
I
wouldn't chocolate normal.
I don't care about that. Like why am I like salivating over the idea? I've never wanted that a day in my life.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
And it's always the most gluttonous foods and desserts too.
Oh my god.
Always. And you're like
that you'll never ever eat.
Yeah. Never eat it.
Never. I would never order that in a restaurant, nothing, but I'm like, yeah, this is great. Save, we're going here.
Like a milkshake with like cake and a donut and like,
a whole Twix bar.
I would never order that.
No.
I'll never ever get that. Even the post show, I'd never do that.
Yeah.
No.
Even post show, there's been food that I've ordered just to like, let's see. I get like 2 or 3 bites and I'm like, I'm good. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was
Pat
it.
my fill. Pat my fill. Yeah, it can be like that.
Just scarcity mindset.
A question that I had for you, Hunter, was like, I guess that kind of is one of them, but like any major differences you're noticing between this prep and like previous preps, or even just like your last prep?
The mental game is like so much. I don't even know what's like. I'm just more. I've always practiced gratitude. Like I've always been a person that's very grateful for every moment, regardless of good or bad or what's going on. But this prep, I'm just like, I don't know. Everything is good. Like even when I'm dripping in sweat on the Stairmaster at 10 o'clock at night, after work, after training, after all this, I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
That's really great. I'm sure it's like a really good feeling to have, and just understanding that like I'm lucky to be in this position, not like I'm forced or like I'm we all say like the whole like suffering, like you gotta suffer and things like that, but like when we're really like boiling it down to like definition and like terminology and stuff like that, it's like what you do this at the end of the day, and
absolutely. And like so the whole, I don't know if you guys are watching the 4-minute mile right now. I mean, she missed it by 6 seconds, but like imagine if she didn't pursue that. Imagine if she didn't go for that. Like, that, oh man, it's just huge. Like you got to go for these things. You got to, if you have a passion, you got to go for it. And,
without not necessarily like expecting anything on the other end, just doing
absolutely no,
because you love to do it.
That's another thing. I've been listening to a lot of more motivational stuff during training. I actually downloaded an app for it instead of listening to music. And it said something like, the ending is none of your business. It's the person that you become in the process. And I know it's corny and like a little cliche, whatever, but It's true though. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Like getting through, like, obviously, as we all know, like getting through bodybuilding prep, like really challenges you in ways that you probably wouldn't have thought physically. And yeah, like I've said it numerous times in this podcast, like I've gained so much through bodybuilding, you know, with the pros and cons and everything like that. But like I've just, as a character, like as a person, like I've learned so much about myself, I guess. And like what I can sort of endure and like push through. And I don't know, I think it translates to life too. And
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely.
Huge.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you can get to that point that like you're at Hunter, I feel like it just, the rest is, I don't want to say easy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just,
I can handle.
yeah.
I can handle this shit.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
this.
Heck yeah.
That's what I'm trying to like get my, you know, Justin's little sister wants to do a prep, and
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, she doesn't listen to the podcast, but I don't think you got it. Like, I don't know if you have what it takes. Like, you break down so easily, you get overwhelmed so easily, your mental health is not great, your food relationship's not great. Like, I don't know, girl. I don't know.
Yeah. And that sucks to say, but it also, that's from a place of love. Like,
yeah, really save somebody a lot of like headache and like, you know, self-deprecation, you know.
Absolutely. And if your relationship with food is not good,
Yeah.
The prep is not going to make it better.
It is going to get much, much
I was like, she was like, we wanted to try a prep. So I took, she was still like, felt really full, couldn't really eat any, all her meals, like was like, I hate, like, ugh. And then I took away her cheat meals and she like freaked out, was like, I couldn't stop thinking about the cheat meals. I'm like, you can't even like, it's not obviously about food. You're not able to even finish the meals that you have.
Right.
It's like, it's just that mental, I don't, like she freaked out, like the scarcity mindset. Oh my God, I can't have it now. I need it. I want it.
Yeah.
And she just couldn't get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is tough for somebody.
It's tough.
Yeah, you know, like sees this, like obviously is very close to it, you know, having you and Justin. And I don't know, like I guess I don't know what it is that like people look at this, and as much as information is, you know, is out there now about like how much it actually kind of sucks sometimes, you know, like I don't know, like what really like pulls people in to like want to be, I don't know, do this so badly without necessarily like taking the time. Do I actually really like, do I like doing this? You know, I mean, do you actually like training? Like, are you going to be okay going to the gym after you just worked overtime at work and, you know, your boss was an asshole that day? You know what I mean? Like, or are you just wanting to go home and, you know, throw back a pint of Ben and Jerry? You know what I mean? Like, it's an all in thing. You have to, everything all in. Yeah. If you're not there you're not gonna be successful. Like you just everything has to be spot on, you know, mental, you know, checking all the boxes. And if you're not ready to do that, don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or asking your coach like right off the bat when your next cheat meal is, or when you're going to get your next cheat meal.
Focus
that should not be your focus. No.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever
focus is wrong.
Yeah,
I would never. You will never ever catch.
I've seen it before, and I'm just like that.
That was her, yeah. Like, when are we gonna get a cheat meal? Like, oh my God, you took it away. What?
Welcome to it, sister.
Yeah. But then also too, I think you had mentioned before, she was also somebody that like ate out regularly or like didn't really have a consistent diet.
Yeah, she was pretty. Yeah. She was eating off plan frequently, you know, like as a young 20 person.
Yeah. Right.
She had been in the gym for 6 years. She had done some sort of like meal prepping for about that long. So like, you know, in my opinion, familiar enough.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Understand and had seen, you know, me and Justin for the last couple of years, like, and, you know, going to family dinners, getting a Diet Coke, like, you know what it is. So I guess it had catch me off guard that she was so like, whoa, what?
I think there's a
What do
difference
you
in, like,
mean? What do you mean by that?
like I
What-
think that's
what do you
where it really
mean?
comes down to it.
What was that, Ashlynn?
It's just there's a difference in I want to compete and like
Yes.
being driven to compete.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not-
like, you like how it looks from the outside, but
Yeah.
inside's
yeah.
the down for it.
inside it's a different world. It's a very different world.
And I
And
mean,
for me,
I
the
think
fun part was always the aspect of the prep and going through the motions of that and not really getting on stage. Like I enjoyed that aspect,
Yes.
of it, but I have more
I'm-
fun through the prep than anything else.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. The prep part, the process of getting
Seeing
there.
daily changes happen, like
so
that was
good.
cool to me. It was like a science project. Like, all right, what else can we do?
yeah.
Yeah. For sure.
I saw glute striations this morning, and I was like,
Oh,
"Holy shit!"
And then you're
holy
just like- you're like,
shit.
how deep can I make them now? Like
Right? Like,
doing the whole bend over, like pulling the shorts up.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You're looking forward to waking up every morning because you know at that point, like new things are just going to be popping up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's just exciting, and you're
this
just
part, this
Oh,
part.
especially at 5 weeks, like you're at that point where everything is just
yeah,
all the ducks are in a row at that point. So
for
Yeah.
sure. And I mean, yes,
Yeah.
like the want to eat is there, but it's not like the things that we're doing are food driven.
no,
You know,
or I
or like,
desire to be leaner.
yeah, exactly. Like it's not like, okay, I'm doing this so I can eat my chicken and rice meal or my meal that has carbs in it in 20, you know what I mean? Like it's just
Right.
it's so much more like I'm excited to go into the gym and pull 405 for the first time, or like,
Yeah.
or like waking up and being able to see like glute striations, or all of a sudden you wake up and it's been a couple years and you're like, oh wait, shit, like I have like shape to my shoulders or something. You know what I mean? It's just all of these things that add up. I think that
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I love food. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I love
Oh,
food.
girl can
I love eating.
Yeah,
girl can
Yeah.
eat.
Like, I have my favorite meals, and I'm like, hell yeah, can't wait to
Yeah.
eat that one. But like that's secondary.
exactly.
to,
Two can coexist, you know what I mean? Like you can appreciate food and love food and be a foodie and everything without that being the reason why you compete. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I feel like some people almost use it as like this reward system. Like, oh, if I struggle and I suffer and I go through bodybuilding prep and I get really lean, like I can feel good about eating not great food afterwards, like
Yeah.
in a way.
Yeah. Okay. I totally know what you mean.
Yeah.
I felt like maybe my first time I did it, I was, that wasn't really, but almost. I was like thinking, during the prep, towards the later stages, was like, ooh, I can't wait to eat all this shit afterwards. Because that's that short window where I won't feel guilty about eating that. And
Right.
yeah, that's something you most people probably experience a little bit. You just have to learn to reframe that thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's funny to like watch that from the outside too, like in terms of like the client that I have right now, the one that I just went to junior nationals with, actually, just like seeing like her transformation as a bodybuilder from like when we started back in 2023 to now. It's like I can see that mentality switch. You know what I mean? Like she's now like, no, I think I really want to like do this. Like and it's funny, like talking to her post show, just hearing the verbiage, like, I don't know what it is about just like something about this just gives me this high. And like, I want to chase it. And like, it's exciting. And, thinking about how, 3 years ago, I was looking at girls on a stage like this thinking, man, that would be so awesome if I could be there. And then now knowing what it takes to kind of get to that level and still being like, oh no, like I really like, this is cool. Like I really like this. Like, that's a person, you know what I mean? That's like meant to do this, or at least like, put forth the effort that it takes to kind of go further in this, Yeah. But
Hunter's getting lean. Summer in
yeah.
Vegas, and she's got a blanket.
It's 105 today.
Yeah, she's got a blanket.
that's so funny. I do remember that one time close to a show or whatever, it was definitely, it had to have been at least like 80 something degrees outside, and my heater inside was cranking like 70 something.
Yeah,
It was so cold. Yeah. Yeah,
It's funny fun. That Hunter, you said that you like this week was the week where you felt it. It's like same for Justin. You guys are doing the same show. He was week. He was like, "Why am I so tired?" And like,
you should know.
It's like he's like, "Hey, you do. You're like 5 weeks out." Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, light bulb goes off like, "Oh,
like,
wow.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes sense.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it can be, especially if like I'm maybe for Justin too, like this prep has again seemingly gone so smooth for you that it's almost like you're not expecting that like hit or that crash or whatever. It hits and you're just like, what the fuck? You're like, oh wait, should like this.
Like, oh wait, I've been prepped. Darn.
Yeah.
He's been doing good. He's getting a lot of refeeds, like with cheat meals.
Good.
He's eating more than me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like him and Jacoby really mesh well. Really work together. That's good.
It's nice. I say because they've been working together for at least a couple years now, right? Or am I completely
a year. He just I think not quite a year. He left. Was Matt kind of quit?
Oh, sure. Right.
Yeah, not that long ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So he took over Justin at the very tail end of his like off season. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have a lot of time to like grow together. Yeah. So he basically just took him over the last like month or so of his off season into a prep. So they kind of had to like do because he had just come off like a gut health protocols, and I think Jessica talked about that last time that you had to feed back up to start the prep almost.
Mm-hmm. Like feed up into the prep or whatever.
Yeah.
But honestly, though, I from what I've seen, I feel like where Justin really shines, Jacoby, is in a prep. You know what I mean? Not to say that like he isn't good in the off season, obviously, but just I don't know. I feel like he's got a really good understanding of just kind of how to bring people in shape. Obviously, learning somebody and working with somebody beforehand can be very important. But I feel like Jacoby does a really good job either way. So
from what I've seen,
he's great and he's looking really good. So
my fiance works with him as well, and what I've noticed is he's like really communicative with all of his athletes. Like there isn't a lot of gaps to anything, any question you have. Like he's going to send you back a 3 to 5 minute voice message going over everything in explicit detail. So
you gotta like listen to it at two times speed to like
2 times.
Damn, Jacoby, so like a 8-minute long audio. Like
yep. But honestly, especially for Chris, I know he prefers that style. It gives him a lot more insight, and he's able to understand things more fluidly.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
For sure.
Well, Ashlynn, I know you were obviously on for the couples podcast.
Yes.
But we didn't really get a whole lot into how you were involved in the bodybuilding world and who you are as a bodybuilder. Yeah. So if you wanted to kind of give us your genesis, so to speak, when it comes to bodybuilding and competing.
So whenever I first got started, I actually knew what bodybuilding was, but didn't really it wasn't something that was on my mind as like, I'm going to go to the gym and do this so I can compete. I had just been working out for a very long time. My dad kind of raised us in a gym growing up, so it wasn't anything that I wasn't unfamiliar with. And I had just moved. Well, I'd been living in Colorado for about 2 years at this point, but I just moved down to Colorado Springs. And one of the trainers there was asking me if I'd ever considered competing. I was like, what's that? Just like real innocently. And she's whole spiel, and she's showing me pictures, and like right off the bat, I remember the first division that caught my attention was figure. I was like, that's the one I'm going to do. I was like, that's the shape I like. And ultimately, like that, as far as people that I'd been following on Instagram, I'd realized that's exactly what they were doing and or competing in. I was about 20 at this time, so I hired a coach and did like a whole year in an off season with him initially, and just kind of like put on more size, tried to find more strength. And like at this point I was still natural. I was 20 years old and I was probably like max weight was maybe 120. Did my first prep with him in 2016. I did like the Pueblo City Steel City Championships back in 2016. And it's a very, very small show, but I did like a kind of not really a crash course of an 8-week prep, but basically an 8-week prep. Because at that point, I was also doing 2 hours of jujitsu and MMA training still, like nightly, along with prep and like cardio, and then training on top of that. So I got lean really, really quickly, and also being natural and just with my genetics, I was completely shredded and had ab veins by 8 weeks out. So I did my first show at the Steel City Championships, won the overall there. I was like, cool, let's do the next one, which was the Colorado Championships, or was it the Empire Athletics? I'm trying to remember what it was. It's 2016, so it's almost been 10 years, but got second at that show. And like, I was maybe 102 pounds on stage and still like had great conditioning, to be honest. Like even for like a not first time competitor, but first time, athlete getting on stage for her first 2 shows. And after that, I was 21 and kind of fell into the realm of PEDs very, very stupidly at very, very young age. Didn't have like the slightest clue of what I should and shouldn't be doing. But ended my first show. It came out of it in like August at like 105 pounds. And by December was like 152 and just massive. And was like, cool, this is great. Like felt super strong. But I like wasn't aware of any of the signs of like androgenized features or what could happen if you do this and this, and like taking time off and resetting everything. So I had just like went for it for a good 6 months, no breaks, nothing, like just kept going and was taking compounds like EQ. Probably shouldn't have taken it at 21 years old, but ended up with a spiral fracture on my humerus due to arm wrestling. And the way the doctor pinned it was the muscle kind of outgrew the tendons and the ligaments and got stronger than the bone. And it was like a torque fracture where the muscle contracted at the same time, twisted it, and the bone was just like sliced from top to bottom. So obviously that kind of forced me into coming off of everything entirely, starting over, and then ended up getting surgery on it. So now I have a plate and a rod from elbow to shoulder.
Yeah.
I was lucky though. I found an ortho surgeon who was familiar with bodybuilding, and he told me right off the bat, he goes, I'm not going to cut through your tricep. I'm not going to cut through the muscle. I'm just going to remove it from the site of insertion, peel it back. So then I can do the surgery, because if I cut through the muscle, it's not going to grow anymore. And I was like, thank you. I'm glad you know. I'm glad you know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
It was also like 3 days before Christmas. So I had to wait 2 weeks before I could get the surgery. And like the spiral fractures, your bone is just like kind of cut in a circle all the way down.
It's crazy.
And then pieces. So they really couldn't do anything about it, but wait for a good ortho surgeon, Jesus Christ, ortho surgeon to come back from Christmas vacation and New Year's and everything else, re-break the bone, and then do the surgery. So ended up taking like a full year off at that point and put on an additional 30 pounds, and by this point was like 165, but I started lifting again fairly early on and didn't have any musculature issues or nerve damage issues, very like minimal.
Great.
So he did a fantastic job with the surgery and the rebuild of it. And so much so that I competed like at the tail end of that year in my first women's physique show. So it was like a good, I think, 11-month separation between the two, like the surgery and the show. And ended up getting first at that show and was like, cool, now I'm going to do USAs. And by this point, this was like July of 2018, and the show was in November of 2017. So I really didn't have that much time in between. I did like another short 3-month off season. I say that like because it's not really an off season. You're not really doing anything but just resetting, like doing a health phase before I went back into another prep. And then I did USAs in 2018 for women's physique, and that was like my second women's physique show. And I ended up getting the overall. And I was 23 and really had like no idea still. Like, I mean, I knew how to compete. I knew like what I was doing, but really had no idea what I was doing still. I was still technically a baby in the sport. And I was like, here I am now, an IFBB pro. And I was like, now I'm starting from the bottom again. And I was like, and I'm like 130 pounds trying to do women's PT. So that's kind of where I got my start in it. And I did 5 years of back-to-back shows and competing. My last shows were in 2022 at Tampa and Texas Pro. So for women's physique.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
That's a crazy beginning for sure to kind of introduction to bodybuilding. I think that is I mean, without like saying it in a bad way, I think having like perspective like that though, of kind of having the experience and like knowing what not to do can be pretty I don't know, it's like useful, but obviously I'm sure it came at like some sort of detriment to you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You learn that real quickly, especially like looking back on it now. I'm like, oh my God, like I was an idiot at that age, but that's a 21-year-old that's taking PEDs. I mean, to be honest.
So was that like by choice, like you had read it in like a forum somewhere, or was the coach that you were with at that time said like, oh, this is kind of, if you want to do this is what you should do? Or I guess like how did
I had trained on and off at Armbrust Pro Gym and was very like familiar with what PEDs were. I mean, obviously look at who I'm training around.
Yeah.
And by that point I was just like coming out of those first 2 shows and like knowing that I needed to put on size and knowing what I needed to do at that point in that direction. I was like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
Sure.
And just had some very horrible advice from a previous coaching friend. And it was terrible. It was very detrimental, but I mean, in the long run, I think it gave me more of a knowledge base on like just human physiology the longer I went through it. Cause I'm one of those that like hyper fixates. Once I want to know something, I will go to the ends of Google and reading all of the articles to figure out what I want to know. And honestly, now it's like, it's helped me a lot because I've been able to like kind of figure out like, okay, this is going on with me now. What leads to that? Well, it could be this, and this based on like your hormonal profile and what you've taken or what you're not taking.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Welcome, Alyssa.
Hi. I totally like, I don't know why I thought it was 7:30.
You had that problem before.
I know.
I feel like that's not my fault. I'm so sorry. I feel like I switched it up between like 7 and 7:30. Did you guys train today?
Yeah, we did actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was for some reason thinking in my head that like maybe you didn't train today, so like 7 would work, but I know you had mentioned 7:30 usually works a little bit better.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And then I just noticed, I was like, oh, my little profile still says Alyssa and Ben Hodge, so it's not even. I'm like all sorts of unprepared today, but that's all right. I'm here.
Hey,
You showed up.
We are so informal, so it's not even a thing. But yeah, so Ashlynn, I obviously, you know, whatever your history of bodybuilding, PED use and everything like that. Do you mind sharing a little bit about what you are currently going through in terms of just like health, your feet, your that whole situation?
Yeah. So I was always I was known as like the person with the very deep squat and like super flexible, hyper flexible. Ended up getting a hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos diagnosis after like several attempts of like my hips dislocating and popping out of socket, some disc herniations. Recently, it's been my shoulder deciding it wants to sublux out of socket. I could be doing absolutely nothing and it's just hanging at my side and it just goes kind of like clunking forward. So that's been fun trying to train around. I think I'm figuring out more so for me, and like machines and cables are great because they already add the stabilization factor. There's no need to do that, unlike with barbells and dumbbells. Because I've noticed with barbells and dumbbells, even at like it could be a 25-pound dumbbell, the moment it goes like above collarbone length, my shoulder wants to dislocate and throw itself out of socket. So I'm like, we'll stick with the machine. I can do 2 plates on a machine all day for shoulder press and have no problems.
Yeah.
So to go from like 90 pounds per side down to 25 pounds per side, especially on movements like that, was kind of eye-opening. But that really wasn't like more so of like PED use that caused that. I think that's just with general aging and then like having something that's just kind of gotten significantly worse over time. And it's caused like some issues with my feet. Recently, I had like a foot and a joint fusion in my foot, and they put what's called a speed plate in like the first metatarsal and the cuneiform joint. So it's like, I call it my medical grade arch. The other foot doesn't have one, but I will end up getting the surgery on that foot next year for the same thing, because my ankles were pronating so bad after years of walking with flat feet that my knees were starting to cave in no matter what I did. Like I could be doing a very basic body weight squat and you could see the shift or the knees just kind of collapsing, and there was really nothing I could do at that point. So that's been fun trying to navigate. As far as the hormones go, I think because I started so young and then ran 5 years with back-to-back eating, which, you know, now that I think about it, could also be a slight cause. It left me basically perimenopausal at the age of 30, and like has continued to even after being off of everything for this is almost going on 2.5 years now. They do say, which my doctor has said, that several times, that low hormones can attribute to, you know, early bone degeneration, joint and tendon, ligament, collagen degeneration. And with me already having collagen production that's less than apt, it's made things just kind of disintegrate that much faster. So we've been kind of like going back and forth on what forms of HRT that I could like safely and comfortably use, but for an extended amount of time that wouldn't cause any further issue. So that's kind of fun to navigate. It's like playing Russian roulette almost with hormones.
Just trying to figure out like what works for you. So like, I mean, I think that's just the most like fascinating part, is just not fascinating. That sounds bad, I guess, but
it is interesting though. It's still like, you know,
to
experience.
Yeah, and manipulate things to figure out like how you can still do this as in, you know, continue to train in a way that is optimal.
Exactly, that's optimal and enjoyable too.
Yeah, exactly. Because I assume at the end of the day, like training has always been like the core of it. You know, you enjoy training, enjoy being in the gym and stuff, and you know, adding and whatnot. So kind of what has been the so you aren't actively competing?
No, my last 2 shows were in 2022, and through those prepped, I developed a lot of like radiculopathy in both feet, just from like my disc herniations, and it just kind of slowly got worse as I got leaner. And I noticed like as I got leaner, also you naturally start to lose some of that collagen in between your joints and your tendons and your ligaments, and unfortunately your discs as well are part of that. And I've noticed like now that my body fat has come back up, you know, the discs are a lot more comfortable, but I definitely notice the leaner I get, or, you know, starting to cut back on body fat, that radiculopathy just kind of starts to come back. It almost feels like I have a Charlie horse in my calf at all points of time, but just kind of like there and just lightly tinges. So that's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
What I don't know if maybe you guys already went over this a little bit, but so I apologize if you did. But what kind of made you realize that you were like in that, like you said that you were diagnosed with like perimenopause, but what were you like seeing happen to get to that like diagnosis?
Well, obviously there was a long point of amenorrhea, like probably a good 4 years of it.
Oh, wow.
But that was while I was doing continual preps, constantly low body fat, constantly on PEDs. Whenever I came off of PEDs, it took about a solid year for my period to actually come back. But I remember at one point in time, I'd been off all of the PEDs for about 6 months, went and got my blood work done. My estrogen was at an 8 and my testosterone levels were at an 800. And like I have PCOS as well, but for like
that's high for
levels to be at 800, like that's astounding. And I was looking at it like confused. I was like, this has to be wrong.
Yeah, there's no way that's right.
You know, and then my progesterone levels were also at like a 0.4, 0.5.
Yeah.
They were crawling.
Yes.
Yeah, they were crawling. And of course, with low progesterone, sleep is like non-existent, especially deep sleep you actually need. Your mood is just kind of like this flat affect. There's really nothing up, nothing down. You're just flat. And then there's also like the physical symptoms that came with it, like hair loss. I mean, with like perimenopausal hair loss, it's mostly like hairline that kind of starts just thinning back, or what would be known as like traction alopecia if you constantly have your hair pulled back, which I did at that point in time. So skin issues. I was developing like a lot of collagen issues, specifically in my face. And even though I hadn't done a prep in a long time, my buccal fat was not coming back like at all. And you could still see like the harsh line here, the jaw striations all the way through. So at that point in time, I was like, okay, you know, I'm not gaining weight like I usually would post show. I don't feel normal. Energy levels are still completely shit, like regardless of what I do. And sleep wasn't like where it should be at all. Like usually post show, I'd have no problem just sleeping for 8 to 10 hours. And now it's more on the line of like 6 to 7. I'll naturally wake up at about 6:30 every morning, regardless of if I'm in bed at like 12:30 or 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang, girl.
That's why I think, Jasmine, you liked the comment that I posted on that one girl. She's like 18. She's already taking PEDs. What's her interesting? She has a very interesting.
I can't remember.
Connie, that's the Instagram handle.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think I remember
to the chat, because it was like some 18-year-old girl who was like, y'all should can't take PEDs because they're not as serious as you think they are. Like, you guys been led to believe all these lies about all these side effects.
And she's 18. You can clearly see like the viralization and the androgenized side effects that she's already experiencing. And it's like for your androgen receptors, like especially for DHTs are really only heavily produced at 2 times in a male's life. And that's like in utero, whenever they are actually developing male characteristics. And then when they are going into puberty as a precursor to testosterone, and that's when they're really their highest. So as women, if that's all we're taking, what do you think it's going to do to you after a certain amount of time? Like, especially after use. And a lot of women don't like, especially younger women. That's why it like bothers me so much, because I was the person that did that. And now being 30 and experiencing all of the negative side effects after the fact, because I was stupid about it. It's just like, it drives me insane sometimes. I have to put down my phone. I'm like, you know what? No, not today. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that specific account, she's spreading a lot of harmful information out there. And I don't know if she had a lot of followers, but I mean, you know, there's probably a lot of girls who are of her age bracket that
that are gonna listen to that.
18 to 20. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she did say that her goal in the long term is women's physique or women's bodybuilding. And it's like, if that's your goal, longevity is going to be your best friend in that case. Doing everything that most 30-year-olds in the sports are doing, you're going to be 25 and feel 40, and your body will feel 40 as well.
I don't know. I think the biggest, like, the toughest pill for them to swallow is that like this is a sport of like the long game. You know what I mean? Even if you do put on that muscle and that size, like, it's gonna take time for that muscle to mature and, you know, become dense, and like you're not gonna achieve this stuff over 2, 3, 4, sometimes even like 5 like plus years. You know, there
people don't like that. People don't.
Yeah, they don't. And it's just, I don't know. It just becomes like a, how many different ways can we say this stuff before, you know, it's just like, all right, you're just going to do what you want to do. You know, think about when you were at 18, you know what I mean? You thought you knew everything. You know, you didn't want to listen to the advice given to you because you thought that, you know, it's an unfortunate thing with 18. And then I also feel like social media, again, like just kind of
adds to it.
That, you know, and just how, you know, the instant gratification thing has just like worsened with time. And it's just, it's tough. It's really tough. And I don't know, it's one thing to we want to be like open about it, right? Like I want to share with you kind of my experience and, you know, like what you're doing, Ashlynn, like here's what I did and why you shouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But it's almost like this fear of like, okay, like if I put this information out there, like I don't want somebody to abuse that, or somebody that's just getting into bodybuilding. You're like, oh, okay, so like Shay takes that, so like I obviously like I'm gonna take that too, you know. And it's just like I feel like there's this weird sense of not responsibility, but almost just I don't know, like
I kind of view it as a responsibility. I don't like even like back in 2016, whenever I started them almost 10 years ago, like it was still a very like taboo subject for women. And like no one talked about their cycles. No one talked about like the side effects they were experiencing, the good, the bad, like no one did. And so for me jumping into it, like, of course I was given shitty directions because, you know, it was a male who didn't know what he was doing. And he's like, yeah, here, take AQ. You're 21, have fun. Like, like, and of course, like there was no information on like cycling off, how to like, even for women, you do need to PCT to some degree, even if it is just mildly tapering or taking like whatever, like an estrogen blocker, liver supports, whatever you need. Like there was none of that knowledge. And so I see some of the knowledge that is being put out there now, and it's just mind blowing to me that that's still where we're at. Like that's still the knowledge that's being like displayed rather than just like honesty and like,
being forthcoming.
Yeah. And then even still, like you don't really know if you're new to this, what's what, like, because there's so much misinformation, and then you have other people that are trying to actually bring like good information to the table. And if you're so new to the sport, like you just don't know. Yeah, you don't know how to differentiate it.
I've had someone ask me like they were told that Anavar was a fat burner, and I was like, no, it's not a fat burner, and that's the last thing you need. You're a 35-year-old mother that is just trying to get toned and fit. Like, no,
you don't need that.
That's crazy. Yeah,
that one blew my mind. I was like, who told you that? This information. And of course it's her boyfriend who like is just a gym bro. Of course that's what he probably uses it for.
Probably year round.
Probably year round.
Uses.
That's great. I know, like, I almost feel like
mine, but
people shouldn't do anything unless they're competing.
Yeah.
But that's hard to, like, you know, tell the average person who just wants to put on a little month in the gym. Like, you're just going to have to take a long time to do it naturally. You might not ever get to where you want to, but it's not worth it unless you're competing.
And like serious, I would say, about competing. There's no reason for a first-year competitor to be, you know, hopping on a cycle.
Yeah, local show, like small local show.
Yeah. And I mean, I'll put myself in that boat. Like I did my OCB shows, like turned pro at my OCB shows the first time I competed, and you know, you think you're on this like pedestal, like, oh, okay, like I can do this. Like I'm one of the people that, you know what I mean, like is doing really well at this or whatever. And so I only competed. I did my first season of shows in 2018, spring of 2018, and then I competed as an OCB pro in spring of 2019, so just a year later. And then just before my first NPC show, I took 5 milligrams of Anavar. You know what I mean? Just like thinking that, like, okay, like this is the next step. Like if I want to compete in the non-tested organization, I have to, you know, take something or whatever. And like I definitely, like in hindsight, wish I took the time to build my foundation naturally, or at least see what I could have achieved naturally first. Because I mean, yes, like I did well in my first run of OCB shows, but it's just because I fucking got lean. You know what I mean? Like anybody who's lean will win at an OCB show, you know, regardless of how much muscle you have or how mature it is or whatever. So I don't know. It's like, it's one of those things where you have the experience and like the knowledge of like what to do or like what not to do, but again, like at the end of the day, I feel like people are still going to do what they want to do anyways, you know?
And I think it's hard though, because like also look at who's competing, like, and what's rewarded at the shows too. Like it's, I don't want to be the person that's like, oh, well, if you don't, like, you're not going to do well. But what's being rewarded is like definitely an enhanced
it's an
athlete.
enhanced
Like,
athlete,
it's not, I mean, there is a distinct difference. You can tell like when somebody's natural versus when they're not.
For sure.
And so it's really hard. It is.
But at the end, at the end goal is to have that sort of physique and those sort of features. Then I guess like the question is, take PEDs, just make sure you're very, very well aware of what you're taking, where you're getting it from, you trust everything, like, and you know what you're doing. I think that's the main thing, is just knowing what you're doing and going into it with a full head of knowledge of, you know, how to go about it correctly.
Yeah. Is there any advice to give to girls who are like, you know, like, hey, I've at least looked into these side effects of like, you know, what XYZ could do, or, you know what I mean? Like I'm understanding that if I choose to dip into this, you know, I could be compromising, you know, my reproductive health. I could be compromising my femininity, or whatever the case might be. But like, how does somebody go about kind of, I guess, like researching these things and like kind of knowing more? I mean, obviously, like, I don't know, Google can only take you so far, I guess. So it's like, how does somebody necessarily like take the step to learn more about something like that, especially when it's not so talked about for females, you know?
If you know all of the side effects or the virilization that goes into taking PEDs, regardless of what they are, whether that be deepening voice, facial hair, clit growth, if you want to take PEDs, you can't go into it with the mindset, oh, I'd be okay if A and C happen, but not if B happen.
Yes.
Because you are not going to know how your body's physiology is going to react to what you were taking and what side effects you are going to end up with. And they are lifelong, unfortunately. Like, whether you're having to get laser hair removal once a month, or whether like, I mean, whether you're getting a full like labiaplasty that I've seen a lot of lately. But you're going to have to be okay with any and all side effects going into it, knowing that any of those are possible at any given point. And your receptors will keep recepting the androgens, and some, like, it may start off very, very minimal early on, but the length of exposure and the time that you are on those more receptors that are just going to keep viralizing and catching on. So it start off as, just mild clit growth and maybe like some voice changing, and then out of nowhere you're waking up and you can grow facial hair like better than a 16-year-old brother. So you have to be open going into it. That's my advice.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's super important. Like, you gotta like look at all that and be like, yes, like, okay, if this all happens, and I don't know, that's a weird thing to say too, right? Because I can tell you, like, I don't know, it's like
you don't want them to happen, but you're aware that it could.
Yeah,
and you have to be ready for the next steps, whether that be cycling off or going in to get the laser hair removal or whatever it may be. But that's just something you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them aren't. I don't think it'll ever happen to them. It could never. Like, it doesn't matter if you're taking 5 mg of Anavar. If your body chooses to andronize like that, it's going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like kind of genetic. Obviously,
yeah, very much so.
Person to person, like the way your body is going to handle it. So some people handle it a lot better than others. And it's just a genetic, I think.
And even then, like, that just still goes into like your length of exposure too. It could start out very minimal, and then just as time goes on, oh hey, suddenly I can grow hair. Oh hey, suddenly like. And I don't know if any of you ladies have noticed this. This is one that I noticed, was bone growth, specifically facial bone growth. I always had a very square jawline, but the moment, like, you know, other receptors were starting to viralize, bone growth in my face was like number one. My jaw, like, it's rigid now on the bottom. And I, you know, I'll have to be okay with that. I mean, granted, it looks great. I'll take that all day long, but those are just things you have to be okay with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there was like one year where, I mean, I noticed, like, I literally woke up, this was like 2017, and I thought maybe I was getting sick, but I was like, oh, my voice is literally like different.
Yep.
And I did, like, when you said, Ashlynn, that you like hyperfixate, I legit was like I went to like an ear, nose, and throat doctor. Like,
Oh
I
my
did all
God.
sorts
Oh
of
no.
I went to like voice therapy.
You're like, something is wrong.
I did all sorts of things. And I didn't test like what I was taking, because like that was also a time when like I wouldn't have even known how to do that if I wanted to.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, I'm pretty sure like it wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So but that happened very quickly. Literally one morning, woke up and
Out of nowhere.
it improved a little bit, you know, like after I immediately was like, I'm not taking this anymore. Like, once I kind of like figured it out, I, you know, stopped, and it improved a little bit, but it still never, you know, went back.
Right.
And I still sometimes, because I work like a corporate job, and it's like, sometimes I'm like, I wonder what I sound like. You know what I mean? Like, do I sound okay for work? Like, you know,
like, oh, hey, how are you, sir, through the drive-through? So I don't know what I sound like. I'm like, whatever, man.
And
I
it's
feel
literally
bring it
like,
to the window.
yeah, I mean, it's something, like you said, that people need to think about. Like, are you going to be okay with that? Like, if that happens, and I don't know, maybe you're working a corporate job or something where you are talking to people a lot and it matters, and, you know, who knows?
Yeah.
So,
or you're like out to dinner on a date with a guy, and
your voice cracks.
Yeah. Or the waiter's like, and for you, sir, like.
Yeah. And you just stare at them and you're like, okay. You could be wearing a full face of makeup, hair done, like in like a midi dress, and they're still like, how are you, sir?
Long hair, curled, makeup on, like.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I don't know what like universe you live in, sir.
Yeah. Can I get the name of the restaurant of this waiter?
I know.
Submit a Google review.
Smooth Google review.
No, but I definitely one thing for me, just kind of continuing on with like the voice thing. Not that like I was a great singer, you know what I mean? But I took chorus in school, and I know you're gonna relate to this, Hunter. And I was always a soprano, so I was at least like in those higher ranges and everything. Just, you know, self-taught guitar. Like I would try to sing. Like I, again, wasn't good, like a good singer, but I definitely could like hold a tune and whatever. And then just like songs that I used to love to sing, you know, sing in the car, like whatever, and then you start to sing them and you're like, I
can't hit those notes anymore.
It's just air that comes out when you try to
like I can't even explain it. It's just like your voice literally like just doesn't go there.
Will not do it. Yeah.
No, it just
dies and then it hurts.
Yeah. And it's definitely just taken. I mean, obviously at this point it's like you're accepting it. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. And you kind of like lean into it. So now I'm actually like I can actually hit these lower register notes before, you know.
Yeah.
So more
go to voice therapy and start practicing.
Yeah. But and then even things like not embarrassment, I guess, but like at Quinn's track meets, and actually like just happened this past meet he had on Thursday. You know, trying to like cheer for him, and he's coming around the corner and like
can't do it. I know you're
trying to yell and like
you're just like
it's cracking. I can't get the words out, like, and it's just like I don't know. I wish I could recreate it, but it was just like a goose honking. You know what I mean? Like it was just.
It sounds terrible and strained, and you're like, I am so sorry.
Yeah, I'm really sick, guys. Sorry.
My mom was an OG when mine started cracking, because I think she kind of knew what I was doing, but just didn't want to say anything.
Yeah.
And she told everyone in my family, oh, you know, after Ashlynn woke up from her arm surgery, her voice has just been different. Like, that's just how it is now. And like, she told me that's what she was saying. And I was just like, well, at least I know they're asking about me. Better than before. But yeah, no, she was a real one for that. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, and like some families are not going to be supportive.
No,
like
no,
that,
but,
you know.
No. My mom has showed up to a lot of shows. She showed up at Vegas for USA's and like flew me in, and she's always been there, really supportive on that end. So I got lucky with that one.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she is the type of mom, though, she sees me starting to get super lean, and it's mainly in the face. The moment she sees my face start to sink in, she's like, I need to feed you. And she'll show up at my house with just loads of snacks. And she's like, put this in your cabinet. Don't touch it.
Instincts kick in. Yeah. Her mother instincts kick in.
Everything. And I'm just like, what am I going to do with this? She's like, I'm going to make you this and this after the show. I'm going to bring it to you. No, please don't. I love it. I don't need to eat. That's the whole point is right now. I just don't need that.
Yeah, let her make you stuff and then pass it out at the show.
And everyone around you, Mom.
That's true. That's cute.
Free cookies for everyone.
Honestly, backstage that goes. That flies.
Oh yeah.
Alyssa, how did you enjoy Junior Nationals? And I didn't get to freaking see you.
I know. We left on what day? So Ben's client competed on Friday.
Right.
Yeah, so we left on I'm sorry. When did we leave? Yeah, we left on Saturday.
Yeah.
So, and I know yours went on Saturday. So yeah, we like just missed each other.
Yeah.
But it was good. We trained at the Golds. I saw that you were there too. The day that we went there though, because we trained on, I think it was Thursday.
Yeah,
it was Thursday. Their AC was broken, so it was hot as hell in there.
Yeah,
it was crazy. Was it like that for you?
Oh yeah, it must have still been broken, I guess. I mean, I just assumed that was like that gym environment was just like one of those hot gyms, which honestly I didn't mind, you know.
Yeah.
It's really nice to get like, a good sweat and stuff. And but was it like super busy or super packed when you were there, or
no, it wasn't too bad. Okay. We didn't go until a little bit later too. So it was like it would have been after check-ins for the people on Thursday. Like I don't know if only the guys checked in on Thursday. It might have been like that. So it was after that. So I think everybody by that point that we went was like chilling out. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, just really hot. But his client did really well. He was like super well, not as well as like, you know, he would have wanted to. He was in second call outs. There was like 21 guys in classic physique. So it was a pretty big class. And he was in the second call out. He was shredded, absolutely shredded. He looked really good. But he needs to be a little bit bigger. So just back to work now.
Yep. Yeah, it's always so tough when was it his first national show?
No, he's done I think this was his third one.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that even kind of still puts out the point, you know what I mean? Like your regional shows and who you compete at your regional shows are not who you stand against at your national shows, you know, like getting that perspective of like you're literally getting hopefully ideally like the winners and the overall winners of these regional shows, and like everyone's good, everyone shows up, everyone's conditioned. I don't know if you like watch some of the guys show, but I was able to watch some of the prejudging for the girls, and no one really came in off, you know, like everyone was like in really good shape and at least like decently conditioned for, you know, the divisions that they were in. And it's just one of those. I can't remember where I heard it, but I really liked it. You have to want to chase the pro physique and not the pro card, you know?
Yes.
I like that.
That
is one thing I've noticed at national shows lately is they've been super competitive, actually. Really good class lineups, huge class lineups too. Everyone's
just gonna say that. Like amateur level is getting a lot better than it used to be.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, as the sport like gets more popular, you'll have a bigger pool
Yeah.
of talent.
And the people that, have the genetic ability to be really good at this that might not have been the people to do this 5 years ago, or the people that are doing it, you know what I mean? Yeah. I know, because I don't know how many of you have seen people like at the local gym or something. It's like, damn, if they decided they wanted to compete, like they would be.
Oh yeah.
You
could do so good.
With the popularity, like people like that are like, you know what? Let me give it a try. Let me see. Everyone seems to be doing it and it looks really cool and really fun. Let me give it a try. So I feel like just all these freaks are just showing up left and right. It's good. It's really cool though, right? Because I've definitely had moments of standing on stage and it's like, without like tooting the horn, it's just like the obvious, like you're the one there, or like it's just nice to stand in a line of like actual competition, because again, at the end of the day, that's like we're all doing this because like we are trying to be better and we want to do better. But yeah, that national show was actually really, really fun. I've never been to, I've only been to very select few, I guess, national shows, but for a junior show, like I don't know why they call it juniors anymore. They need to like get rid of like junior nationals, junior USAs, give them like a different name or something. Because I just feel like, yes, obviously bodybuilding doesn't get a pro card or anything, but it's like every other division does. And
right.
So many of these people that go to these national shows could also do really well at any other national show, So it's like,
you think they get too many pro cards out?
Yeah.
I
agree though, because
yes.
I think it used to be, correct me if I'm wrong for anybody who remembers, but when I first started in 2015, I think, again, I might be wrong, but if you placed like 4th or 5th at like a regional show, then you had to do a junior show. Like you couldn't go to
a national,
like USA's or national, like a big national show.
Yeah.
So I think that's where juniors came from, was because like if you were 4th or 5th, then you could go to nationals, but it had to be a juniors.
Right.
But now they don't do that anymore. I think it's just first and second.
Drop the junior.
Yeah.
You're not wrong with like that's essentially like what it was. It was just kind of like a precursor to kind of like people to go and like get their feet wet, kind of suss out like the national scene without actually like going to like nationals.
Right. Yeah. But now it doesn't matter.
It like you quite literally give out more pro cards than some of the other big national shows. Like
I think they should stop doing like top 2 per class and just do winners per class.
Yeah. Wait, you say
there's like some good athletes who get second place pro cards. Like I've seen some really good athletes, but sometimes I have seen a lot of people who are like, that's not a pro physique, and that person will never do well in the pro league. Like, what are they doing with that?
Yeah.
Or
they just never compete at all as a pro, and it's
okay, I get it. That was your big goal, whatever.
Yeah.
What was that, Jasmine?
Like some people, that's the goal, and then they're done after that, which like. Okay, but
wasting that
opportunity. Now we have, maybe it's like the pro card has got less respect behind it now, or like
I do still think that amount of pro cards at any given national show is a lot of pro cards to give out. Like I get it, obviously, like you want to cycle people through the IFBB and. You know what I mean? Like I assume it comes from a business standpoint, a money standpoint, but it's also like, I don't know. It's just, it like you're saying, Jasmine, it doesn't feel like this like big prestigious thing. Like everybody's
what do
got.
You think that potentially the NPC's shows could have like better profit versus their overhead, right? Because like a pro show, you've got prize money, you've got the venue, that is the production, the live stream.
Yeah, you would think you want to keep them there,
That because the overhead of I mean, I know a local, a guy who puts on a show here locally, and I think he talked about losing his ass on a couple of them. But you like think about it, if you have a good NPC show that a lot of people show up to, like you could probably make quite a bit of money. You're not going to pay them anything. Give them a backpack and send them on their way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never understood why there needs to be so many, especially like it's not like it's back in the day where there's only like one national show or like 2 national shows a year. You know what I mean? There's at this point you have junior USAs, junior nationals, universe, USAs, North Americans, nationals, and then you also have the Arnold Amateur and the Olympia Amateur.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't know, a lot of opportunity, I guess. Which again is like,
and there was that one that just happened, like the Pittsburgh Pro or something, that had a pro qualifier.
I think that's the natural. I think that's like the because aside from the pro show, the NPC show is natural. So I think it's a pro natural qualifier or something. I don't know.
If you get an IFBB pro card, you're in the IFBB. Like, what is that?
No, so I think they're
natural.
I think there are natural. I need to do more research on this, but I was almost confident.
I'm saying something I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
There is something for like a natural. I don't know. Are you looking at
like Ben Weeder's natural, probably. Yeah.
It's new. It's like newish.
But is there like an IFBB natural pro card?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. I don't know if then you just get pulled into like all, the entire IFBB, even if you turn pro as a natural.
No, there's natural open shows. I'm on bodybuilding right now. Maybe there's more for other divisions, but May 24th, the 2025 AGP Korea Natural Pro Show. It's natural open. So
is it IFBB or?
It's the Pittsburgh Natural Pro Qualifier. I think that's the one that just happened.
What did you say?
The Pittsburgh Natural Pro Qualifier.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about. Okay,
yeah. Because I mean, that would be a very silly thing to start to introduce like a natural or tested division within the NPC, but then not give them the opportunity to compete against natural pros and just throw them into, because then Canada won. There's one in the Midwest. So it looks like they're starting to like open them up, and one in Oklahoma in September. Natural Open and Natural Masters. So
that's good.
Which is kind of cool, honestly. I like that just for the sheer fact that like everything is like streamlined. You know what I mean? And everything's under like one federation and like one, I guess, I don't know, set of like rules or standards. And I mean, that's not to say that like, it's completely obliterate like the WMBF and the OCB and like things like that. But it's just, I don't know. I feel like I don't know, maybe I'm biased, I guess. It just seems they're just not the same. And they try to make it the same. And then it's like, I don't know. I'm just team NPC IFBB. And I just think they should.
I feel like that's good for providing opportunity, but then resources are spread too thin across all these different things. They got their fingers in all these pies, and then the resources that are not put together, pulled into like promoting one specific avenue, and but so spread thin, it's like nobody knows what the hell is going on.
Yeah. I don't know. They seem to be trying to do like big things, I guess, and I guess not really sure where all that's headed, but hopefully it's all like with good intentions,
Yeah. Did you guys see that there's like a coaching certification or something? Yeah.
I've seen that.
Like they're trying to standardize,
like
I guess.
Bodybuilding prep coach
Yes.
certification.
Oh, what's crazy is there's
Like
nothing,
through the NPC. Yeah.
there's nothing about PEDs in there. You're not coaching people how to use
Oh,
PEDs.
really?
No, yeah, they can't do that.
They can't do that.
True. Yeah, I guess they can't.
You know,
I would love to know what their program looks like. Like, what are they
I
telling?
honestly think it's like for like a surety and like insurance. You know what I mean? To like say like, hey, we're at least putting out there that we are allowing certification so people can know how to properly coach, so people aren't dying, and like, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of to show face of like, hey,
I
we're
wonder if it goes over like a peaking protocol, like carb manipulation, water manipulation, tapering training,
because like that
session, like it'd be good for like just some
basic
maybe
knowledge,
someone who's never done it and is interested in your coaching and maybe isn't like as entrenched into the culture and the world and doesn't have friends doing it. Like, I could see that being valuable, but probably not applicable. Honestly.
Yeah.
Right.
Not at like a high level.
No.
Yeah.
Or like life level, So yeah, that's interesting. And again, I feel like they really don't. It seems weird that would be like more a money scheme. You know what I mean? Because like, how much can you expect to like get from something like that? You know,
I think that's really ultimately all it is.
It's probably like $800, like $800 course, $400 test.
Yeah.
And they probably have like a window, like, okay, you completed your course, you only got 4 weeks to take the test, otherwise you're gonna have to pay again.
Yep. And then you have
that's how it was for ACE certification. Back in the day, I got my ACE certification. And it was like complete the course, it's like $800, and then you have this short window to do the test. You pay for the test. You missed that window. You weren't ready to do it. You gotta pay again.
That's crazy.
And then I'm sure it's like, hey, you have to renew your certification every 6 months.
I'm sure it's something like that. Like you have to renew it every year or something.
Yeah.
But
pay the fee.
Pay for like continued education and stuff.
Yeah. Apparently, like from what I was reading when it first came out, was I guess there's gonna be like some sort of database or something with like whoever has done the course, you know, like maybe your name is listed in there, and then I don't know, people who are looking to compete could like see, oh, this person is like a coach with whatever that, you know, NPC coach or certified, and then I don't know. So
could be a good like business move, I guess.
Maybe I don't know.
But depends on the kind of client that would produce.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I haven't really heard much more beyond it just being a thing. Like I haven't heard of anybody going through it or like actually doing it or whatever. But I mean, what it is, you know.
No pro that I would know. Like, let me look up this database.
No, it would have to be like a total newbie, I would think.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm imagining. It's like a first-time competitor.
Someone in like some Globo gym that's like, I want to try bikini.
Yeah. Let me look on the website. Yeah, and
look for coaches. Otherwise, like if you're in the sport, like you at least like know coaches. You know what I mean? Like you know kind of who to look for, who to reach out to ask, like, hey, you know, thinking about like whatever. You know, it is a very weird thing that they.
It is. Yeah, it's a weird thing because like there really is no like criteria to be a bodybuilding coach either. So it's like I get the point of like maybe what they're trying to do, but like I don't know.
You know what I mean? That's like hiring somebody to like build your house. You know what I mean? Like there's I don't know, I guess like the foundation, so to speak, of like how to go about doing that, but it's like somebody does it is always going to be a little bit different. You know, there's no one standardized way to
prep someone,
and it's not like your dietitian, like what you're eating at the end of the prep. Like, that's not probably what a dietitian would recommend. Like,
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, so like you're not eating something. Technically, you're eating calorie amount most of the time that's like not healthy. So
yeah.
how are they gonna justify that? Like, how are they gonna incorporate what it would take to bring someone into acceptable stage conditioning? Like, how are they gonna make that like,
Yes.
you know, kosher with all the legal verbiage that would require for like insurance purposes, etc.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually when this whole thing like initially started, and Michael and I were having a conversation about it. That was like a point that he brought up too, was like, there's no way you can legally in a way like go about like telling people you can only eat 700 calories a day and do 2 hours of cardio to get things.
No way, yeah.
Absolutely not.
And it's like, okay, are you not going to do that and kind of budget and not give out the more accurate information? And now, you know what I mean? Like the expectations aren't set. Like, I don't know. It's weird.
I would love to see the program. Someone get it.
We should all like pull together to like try it. And just like
just to satisfy our curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
Yep. We're in a weird sport.
Yeah, I know. I keep like,
Can't bet.
I say that at least like a week or something. Like it's just,
Come on, girl.
It's me.
She's like, yeah, that's so everything.
have you seen like the, I don't know what they call them, I guess. So pretty much like butthole hiders for cats or whatever. Like put it on their tail and it's like a gem.
Oh my god.
You can't like see the cats.
That's hilarious.
No, but I
Sounds
know
like
a butthole hider. I don't want to type that into Google because I like it's just gonna.
Oh yeah, you're gonna get some.
Your algorithm's gonna get all funky. Oh my god.
What is? Oh, it's like a necklace for their.
It's like a butthole medallion.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Like bedazzled butthole.
Bedazzled butthole.
It's like blurry, but someone has like the Titanic like looking heart.
Oh.
No.
Well, I guess their butts are on display quite
Pretty
a lot.
consistently, yeah.
That's
But
funny.
I feel like some people like take it a little far. So yeah, maybe you should think about getting one for your cat, Ashley. Showing all. Who was that?
Airing it all, yeah.
Was that Kamari or?
Oh, that was Luna.
Luna.
Yeah, a little tiny one.
Oh.
Mari is somewhere around here. I think he actually just heard you say his name, and now he's like awakening from the bed because he's making his way over here.
Aw.
Yeah, we took him on a walk today, so we leash trained him within like a 30-minute time frame. It was very bewildering how quickly he just took to the leash. He was like, all right, I want to go outside now. Like, so let's just go. And we have a bunch of trails kind of like basically just right in my neighborhood. So we went across the street and took him through the trails, and he did just fine on a little leash, like no pulling, didn't freak out, didn't like try biting it and like rolling over, just very casual. Came back in, let us take it off him. So
that's gonna be like Chris's dream.
Absolutely.
He's so
for that. Yeah. He's like, now we can take him on further walks. Like
I love that so much.
Funny.
Yeah, this cat was raised on cream of rice and whey isolate protein because as a kitten, you know, Chris would finish his little like mixture in the bowl and Kamari would come over and lick the bowl clean. We did make sure it was okay. Apparently, like they use whey protein as a way to like make cats gain weight, but like man, this cat got fast, and that's what I attribute it to. 100%.
He was bulking,
Boy, he has like no neck because he's all just shoulders and like traps, and then just
gosh,
insert into it. I'm like, yeah, see, back on the cat I've ever seen.
Little ham,
classic bodybuilding.
Yeah, tries to do pull-ups on my furniture, just sinks his claws in and like climbs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he'll do it too. He gets so successful at it, and he's gotten really good at it. But like my poor furniture.
Yeah,
I love that.
The joys of having
I love cats. I love cats.
How many do you have?
know.
Do you have 2?
Yeah, we do. You have 2. You have 2.
I have 1.
You have 1. Yeah.
Maybe 2.
Michael, you know, if we have 2, like, what's a third? You know.
Honestly,
Yeah.
they'll all just hang out together. It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the litter boxes are in the basement. You know what I mean? It's closed off. Like, you don't smell it. Like, our house doesn't smell. Like,
We have 2 litter
They're pretty
boxes.
easy.
Decided
Yeah.
one is for peeing and one is for pooping. So that's pretty cool.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually do that?
Yeah. I've
That's
seen, and it's so funny because like I've seen Kamari, he'll go and pee in one litter box, cover it, get out, go to the front litter box and poop.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
He's so specific
interesting.
about it. And if the other cat tries to poop in the peeing litter box, he's crying. He's like screaming at us, like, "What? You have to come get her. You have
Do
to."
it right.
And, like, it is what it is, buddy. Sorry. And then he's upset. So he's a very
Aw.
dramatic cat.
he's such an intellectual.
So he's the only one that does that. The other one, Luna.
The other one,
like,
she just like, I think she just does it to piss him off, to be honest.
Yeah, probably.
She knows, but she doesn't care.
yeah,
Zero
Yeah.
care.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
that's so funny.
Yep.
Aw.
Yeah, we've had Kamari since he was 4 weeks old, so he's very well like accustomed to his little routines with us. And
Yeah.
you know, we got her as a rescue, so she's just like, fuck it all. Like, I'll do what I want. I'm just here.
Yeah.
I'm a wild child.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
Sorry, I tried to ask Jasmine how prep was going.
Oh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Good. About 20 weeks out last Saturday. So we did a little pre-prep prep. And I think that set me up in a really good position
Cool.
to be, ready early, hopefully. Obviously no major changes. I was doing cardio 5 times a week, but I'd been doing that like 4 or 5 weeks ago, so that doesn't feel any different. Food's still about the same. I've cut like a few things, my little like extras that I was doing. And I got to do like a lot of jam and butter and their toast. Like
Yeah.
that's gone now, but yeah, so far pretty smooth.
Nice. What show are you doing?
I don't think she knows.
Texas
Oh.
State in November and Atlantic Coast also in November. I think a week after that.
We're gonna be at Atlantic Coast.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so we'll be there. Ben has he actually has quite a few guys competing in that show. Yeah, as
I
amateurs.
think it's the last stateside show of the year. So might be a big lineup. I think the next one's in like Japan.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah. No, I think you're right.
Yeah. So
That's exciting.
cool. Yeah. So I'll see you at a couple shows this year.
I like how we're kind of each like, I don't know. I guess it's cool. Like the more people that you meet in this, like just getting to see those people out at shows or, working at booths or whatever you were doing this weekend, Ashlynn. Like, I don't know. It's just all like really, really opportunities to, I don't know, step out of our regular main life and into our like bodybuilding life. So,
Man, I'm not gonna lie. It takes a lot for me to go out, and I say in public, but like I go out in public all the time. But I mean to like events with a lot of people, and like the circle of friends, I do fine. And the moment I see lots of people, it's just like you can always tell whenever I'm anxious because I don't make eye contact with anyone. I just beeline from point A to point B as quickly as possible. And Chris is like, "Why are you running?"
I do that.
yeah.
It's exhausting, like talking to that many people.
Yep.
It's but I have good experiences and make good memories, but I'm always like texting Justin, can we go?
Yeah, exactly.
Can we leave?
Yeah.
Can we go?
Or my friend will FaceTime me in
Call
the
the
middle.
Uber.
Like, I have a reason to step away, thank God. Like I'll just go and like FaceTime with her for a little bit. Like, you texted at the right time. Thank you.
That's funny.
Take a phone call. Hello.
Yeah, sing in the back.
It's
Like,
like embarrassing how much I do that in life. Phone calls. I'm not kidding. Even to the point where, and I don't know, this is so stupid and embarrassing. I'm even like admitting it, but I don't know why I would think this would help, but anytime, like, if I'm a little like late on my registration or my car is not inspected or something like that, like I go by a cop or something, or like, I don't know, just like try to like draw the attention to
Start
me.
talking on the phone.
With my hands on like Bluetooth or something like that. Or you just, like
adjusting the mirror.
Yeah, or just like, I don't know, because I guess I think like doing this is gonna cause them to not notice my tags, or like, I don't know, it's weird. It's such a
Oh my
weird
gosh.
Don't look.
Or just
Look
like,
at me, not my license plate.
Exactly.
or yeah, just like seeing somebody out in public that you don't necessarily want to see, or like walking out of the gym and not wanting to like have interaction.
Start pretending like I got them on speaker. I'm like, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like I've literally like
on and
walked out of the gym and like I'm talking like, hey buddy, like, you know, just want to make sure that, you know, we're coming home, like, and just no, just so bizarre. It's very weird. We got a lot. It's a good out.
We're all the
man.
same.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do that kind of stuff, and like sometimes I'll feel like weird about myself. I'm like, man, why am I like this? But then like when I hear about like you guys or other people like do the same stuff, I'm like, oh, okay.
We're all like that.
We're all weird.
That.
Yeah.
And I used to be able to handle expos and like doing events much better whenever I was younger, and now I'm just like,
Oh,
Yeah.
hell no. Like,
I was
I'm
so
there an hour
home.
and a half, and then I'm like,
Yeah, halfway through, not even halfway. I'm like, I'll talk to the first person. I'm like, all right, that was it. That was great. And
Yeah.
still got a
I get
long
like
line to go.
exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel exhausted after stuff like that. I'm like,
Oh,
I need
yeah.
like a solid week of like not seeing anybody now.
Exactly. Not
You
going
know?
anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
That's so true.
even
Yeah.
I'm going to the gym sometimes. Like, I'm so bad about it. Like, I'll meet people at the gym occasionally and then never talk to them again. Like, I just walk into the gym, headphones on, like,
all the time.
yeah, and I feel bad about it because like there's occasions where they'll like see me and I'm just like,
Yeah, or they'll try to like even just give like the recognition, you know what I mean, just to get the acknowledgement, and you're just
and they
completely.
probably think I'm the world's biggest bitch, but I'm just like, no, I've got anxiety, man. Like, I don't, even if we've met once, I don't want to talk to you and I don't want to say hi, and like it's just that small talk is not for me, not in this situation.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's
feel
like I'm scared that if I acknowledge them, they'll come want to talk to me.
They're gonna rope you in. Yeah.
Yeah. Or they start asking you a million questions anytime you walk into the gym, even, and you're like, fuck this guy, like, not again.
I know. And you can tell, you know, based off of who's there, like if you're gonna have a good workout or if you're gonna have to like either suck it up or just do that like bitch and just say like, hey, like, you know, sorry, I gotta
go. You can always tell when like trying to put the headphones back on and like you'll make it halfway and they keep going. No.
Worse.
Sometimes I'll just take them off and like throw them down. I'm like,
I'm here.
There we go.
Well, yeah, let me invest in what you said. But it's funny. I feel like some people have like really good social awareness sometimes in the gym.
I never do.
Yeah, that's why like these at the gym, like over the ear headphones.
Over the ears.
Yeah, it's
one of
very
the
obvious.
best deterrents. The little AirPod, they just ignore that. And like,
Yeah,
they can't see it or they ignore it, whatever. But
this means no talkie.
Dude, half the time, music's not even playing. I just have my headphones in just to like
block it out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, like too, I've actually enjoyed it to like, not that our gym like plays music like stupidly loud, but like it just kind of muffles it a little bit. So it kind of hits like the focus there. And I don't know, I just feel like I recognize that I get overstimulated easily in the gym. Especially when it's busy and like I'm like my attention's like elsewhere. I'm like watching people train or you know, there's like so much going on or whatever. So I don't know, I just like keeping them in even if there's not music playing.
Yeah.
But to
I just don't want to like be pulled out of the workout. Like, my sister, Justin's sister-in-law, trained with us, and like, she's a talker. She's a big talker, and she just wants to talk.
Oh no!
And I just feel like you keep pulling me out of my session. I can't focus.
Yeah.
How do you do
the style of workout's great. Like no headphones, carrying on conversations the whole time. I am not one of those people. I have to like close everything out around me. I can't like if I talk to you, it's like one of these. I nod and I go right back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and like
oh, go ahead. I'm like, otherwise, like my workout takes forever. I'm now like 3 hours. I don't want to be there that long.
Nope.
Yep. Especially like Michael and I being dedicated, training partners. Just because I'm not in the set and he's doing his set doesn't mean I shouldn't be dialed into his set. You know what I mean? So like, it's not an opportunity to like come over and like have a conversation just because I'm not technically in the set. You know what I mean? And I always like almost get not like anxious or whatever, because like I know that, he'll speak up and like he'll say something if it goes on too long, but it's almost just like, I don't know, like you're making me anxious because I'm supposed to be like paying attention to him and like his set and like getting him through his set, and you're just like you're taking away from that. You know what I mean?
For sure. I hate it when people are talking. Like they're like while I'm trying to do my set and I just have like music going and
and then
I can't focus on my set. I'm like kind of listening to you that like just shut up.
Like, I'll just straight up ignore him if he's trying to talk to me mid-set. Like I won't even make eye contact with him. I just continue, and then eventually, like all right, what a team.
Yeah.
I've done that too. What?
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Oh man, that's funny.
You become different animals in the gym.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm usually like the shy reserve type, but like for some reason, like I'm in the gym and like I become like a territorial dog. I guess that's the best way to say it. I'm aggressive. I'm very aggressive. And like I just want to get in, get my shit done.
Yeah.
Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Move out of my way. That's it.
If you're on a machine that I need, I'm gonna ask you if I can work in. That's pretty much how that goes.
Well, what's funny is that people ask me like if they can work in or like whatever else, and like I'm the nicest person. I'm like, yeah, have fun. Like jump right in. Do you need help with the weights?
Yeah.
And then it's just right back to grimace.
Yeah.
I'll just like leave. I'll be like, oh, I'm done.
You can have it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I don't really. I mean, I would never say no to somebody like, oh, you can't work in.
Or be like, oh, I have one
like
set
that.
left. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got
might,
one
like,
set. I'm almost done.
Same. I'm maybe a little territorial. I don't really want to share.
It's totally fine, especially like too. It can be coupled with like
get roped into like taking their weights on and off for them.
That and like this weird uncomfortable like, okay, we're not working out together, but we're working on the same scene.
Yeah, they're standing or waiting, and
I don't have to talk.
Then I become like very self-aware, and I'm like, am I taking too long? Like maybe
am I fidgeting?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, see, I say that, but I've never no one's ever asked to work in with me. And I guess anytime I have asked, like, like, hey, like how many more sets do you have? It's always just like, like I'm done, or just, one more set. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man, I end up with the people because the gyms that we go to, or at least one of the ones that we were going to for a while, it was starting to get filled with a bunch of like groups of kids that were training in like pairs of 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And of course, like being that I am on like a tracked workout routine, this is what I'm supposed to be doing to start. This is what I'm supposed to be doing to end. Like it's all set up. So it never pisses me off more whenever I walk up and I'm like, hey, how many more sets do you guys have? Oh, we have like 5 each. And there's 5 of them there. And I've had one where like, okay, I'm going to work in. No.
Yeah.
What do you mean no? We both pay the same gym membership fee. This is a public. I'm gonna work in. Sorry.
Yeah.
That wasn't a question. That was me telling you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, you already have 5 people. What's one more? Like,
exactly. There's 5 of you already doing 5 more sets. This is where I need to start. I'm
gonna get my 2 in, and then I'm gonna go.
And then I'm gonna go. Exactly. Exactly. Because I'm not doing 5 sets of. Well, there are a couple exercises where I'm doing 5 sets, but very rarely am I doing 5 sets of anything.
Yeah.
And definitely not with 5 people. I could not train comfortably with 5 people.
No. Sometimes like 3 is a lot for me, and that's like me and Michael, and like one of his clients wants to like get a training session with us or something like that. And like that already is like, okay, this is taking too long. It's too long in between sets, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do about it? All right, my gals. Actually, pretty decent podcast, I would say, for back after a couple of weeks. Sorry we missed you for a little bit, Alyssa.
That's okay.
I'll be better at my timing.
No, you're good. I probably missed something in the chat about the time. I don't know.
That's okay. It's a hodgepodge anyways, so it's fine.
I'm glad I made it, though. And I missed you guys.
Yeah.
That was not intentional, but now it is.
It works out, yeah.
Okay, then. Well, I hope you all have a good rest of your Sunday. I almost said Saturday because we always do this on a Saturday, but I hope you have a good week ahead.
Yes, you too.
All right, ladies. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Babies, babies.